kind of go through some of the speakers, I think, that came to talk to us today about some things. I think Council Beard had someone to come speak to the council real quick.
Yeah, Chandler Bell from Safety Shelter. You want to come
Okay.
to the microphone, Chandler?
Chandler or Chandler?
Chandler.
Chandler, okay, all right. We have a little bit of time before we start our agenda items, so.
Okay. Hi, I'm Chandler Bell at Safety Shelter. Our parent company is Aquamarine Enterprises. We do community storm shelters across the state. Our company's been in business since 1995.
Chandler, you want to talk into the microphone?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's working, I could do it outside.
Can you hear it now? Okay. We hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. We started our company as a family-owned and operated business that was started in 1995. After around 2007, as I was mentioning, is when a lot of the demand for the community-sized shelters emerged. We've, like I said, put several hundred across the state. We also work with a lot of large corporate clients as well, from Alabama Power to BP, et cetera, and have a strong reputation behind the product as well. The shelters themselves are made out of quarter-inch steel, so you're looking at something that's rated up for an EF5 tornado at 255-mile-an-hour winds that have all taken direct hits. And so they've been not only tested by the industry standard of testing, but also battle tested as well, and have saved a lot of lives on the residential and commercial side as well. Of course, I'm sure that people have a lot of questions as far as utilization of them, product knowledge, et cetera. Are there any questions that I can answer?
Is there information on your websites?
There is, and I've also brought brochures for anyone that would like them as well to show.
Could you give one to each council member, the city clerk, and the mayor, and our attorney? Butch, you need one, if you think you need one.
I'll take one if you have extra.
This is our fire chief, Randy Davis.
Here's the whole menu. Chandler, may I have the extra one? Of course.
To give to the horse.
Could you provide us with a list of references?
Absolutely, absolutely. Included in the packet, in the folder that there is as well, are at least 3 letters of recommendation.
Have names?
Also, here on the opening page here, you'll see kind of what I call a laundry list of corporate clients that we worked with. Up to date, we've done 157 installations for Alabama Power. We are their exclusive provider for shelters, anywhere from a shelter that accommodates 2 people to ones that accommodate at their Calera office over 400. It's been an outstanding initiative and an investment for their employees and committed to their safety as well. We've done 6 to 8 for BP in the last several weeks as well. However, although SCA, the Americas, in Cherokee, we just completed their installation. However, we just focus also a lot on municipalities, local governments, et cetera. So that's where we spend a lot of our time for residents in areas that are looking to seek shelter, need an option, whether it's a residential or community style. And I'm proud to be part of an organization that has an outstanding product, and behind it, it's able to provide a solution for that.
Chandler, would you explain, turn this direction and explain to the council about the foundation and the generator and so forth?
What was the first part there?
About the foundation?
Yes.
Yeah.
The foundation of the shelters, it sits on a a standard size is a 10 by 48. For FEMA 361 guidelines, that's going to, it's above 17 people and over. That is going to be a 10 by 48 for about 96 people. It will sit on, it'll be a 12 by 56 size foundation monolithic floor that's at least at 3,000 PSI on your concrete. That will have a 28-day cure time after you've done your initial site prep, a 28-day cure time when it's poured. The turn downs on each side of those are 36 inches in depth, and then here, and then on the middle, actually there's a photo right here for it that also reinforces it. And then the middle of it is on an 18-inch thick slab. So it's also reinforced with a number 4 rebar on an 18-inch grid. So as far as the foundation itself, FEMA requires that the foundations that they sit on must have a bolt pull test, or the anchoring system that goes into it must pull at least 3,000 PSI. We've had independent lab studies done, and ours have pulled at over 17,000 without failure, without breakage. The shear rate, as far as moving over, is in excess of 80,000 pounds as well.
Are the generators something that kicks on automatic when electricity goes off, or you have to start them?
They are automatic. We work with Generac. Generac, we are a licensed manufacturer, not manufacturer, but installer, retailer, and service. All of our team and our field personnel that does the installations have all been through Generac training and are able to service the generators as well. And that isn't something that we charge a fee for or anything along those lines. It's something that comes with it. The generators themselves are typically an 8 kW generator. They go through a weekly test. So once a week, it can either run off of natural gas or propane, whichever the source that you would want to pull in would be. Every week you pick your time that you would like for it to kind of go on and do a self-diagnostic check, and it powers on. I think it's a 12-minute cycle time, runs through the diagnostics, checks the fuel, et cetera. If there's an error code, it spits out an electronic error code to our office so that we're able to troubleshoot it. That we actually have very few generator type of issues that come up. And so the quality of them, from self-check, size, functionality, is pretty much the best at that cost point.
Are they repairable? Are the actual shelters repairable if they are damaged in a storm? If, I don't know, got a hole in them or something fell on them, are they repairable, or do we have to replace them?
No, you can repair it well, you can weld it, it's metal.
It's quarter-inch, and
Be repaired.
the industry standard of testing for shelters is done by Texas Tech, Women's Science University. And so they do, essentially, for it to pass, for a shelter and its component pieces to pass, they shoot missiles at all of the parts that could be, all your component pieces, your hinges, your door assemblies, the things that would be most likely to be damaged in a storm. If there's over a quarter-inch of deflection, it results in a failure, and it's not certified. And so there are not holes, and there are not issues as far as repair. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a quality product.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Oh, I see the generator is sitting inside.
The generator actually is affixed right behind it. It also sits in the.
It sits outside.
It does. It's on the same monolithic core foundation that it is. I believe there's a photo. You'll see one right here, and over left-hand side of this page. And it can sit on the front or the back, but it also is in a FEMA 361 compliant housing. So that generator protected housing that the generator is in is also built to withstand the EF5 rating of 255 mile-an-hour winds. So the generator is protected in the same fashion. location that the shelter is. All the work, electrical work, power source, et cetera, for the generator comes in and goes under your monolithic foundation and then up through the shelter. So there is nothing that's exposed to the elements that
Do you have
could
any
be
cases
damaged.
of vandalism on this generator and shelter?
Actually, we do a double, great question, we do a double security on the generator. It in itself has a security key that you can choose who you'd like to give that key to, that would open the generator box. Be able to lift the lid to the generator that's sitting inside. From that point forward, you kind of look and see if there's generating an error code or things along those lines. The next part is if you ever have to go in, which was what our team does, if there's ever a need to, go in for a pump or a sensor or something along those lines, we keep additional key and a security tape around it so that it can't be tampered with someone, by someone that is not trained and qualified to be able to do so.
What about the warranty of the shelter and the generator?
Generac, the shelter itself has a limited lifetime warranty.
That
It's
includes parts and labor?
parts is primarily the 1/4-inch steel. Dehumidifiers, sometimes those have to be replaced. Those are typically not included unless there's been a recall on a dehumidifier. That's what's keeping the condensation out, and that needs to run continuously. The Generac, as far as its warranty Generac carries a 5-year warranty on their generators, and that's through the provider directly.
What protects people inside on the power line, probably the shelter that was made out of metal?
It is grounded with 3 8-foot ground rods in 3 different locations.
And it transfers it in away from the metal building into the ground.
Yes, sir. It's all grounded. The generator is grounded, and it's grounded. Actually, only one is required in the storage. But great question. For our residential units, they assume the grounding of the existing structure that's around them.
So is it air conditioning heated?
That would be nice. And actually, we've had those requests. It's for something that you're looking at that is steel. It's when you're looking at weather changes, when it's hot, it's warm, and vice versa. The dehumidifier is there, of course, to keep the condensation, mold, anything like that from forming. Some have installed air conditioners. However, you probably will not see the great benefit that you would like to the comfort of an air conditioner no matter how it will be installed in that sense. Yeah. Some people choose to have fans running in it or heaters or something along those lines. And also when you're looking at these, they're not, prevention or getting out of the elements of the storm, you're typically looking at 15 minutes to 2 hours. At that point in time, or sometimes just 45 minutes. So when it comes to where a lot of them have placed priorities, there's a lot more on having the generator, having backup power, having the ADA accessible handicap ramp, appropriate parking over some do actually like New Hope. They like a TV. And Shelby County, they want the TV installed in there so they can continuously have new news updates that are coming in as well. So those can be customized in that sense.
So do you, as far as location, is this trying to put this in the neighborhood, or do you have a centrally located place that you put these in?
You can put them, I'll say, just about anywhere, as long as it depends on who owns the property and where the funding is coming from. So as long as you have the footprint for what the shelter would need, and it's accessible, typically they say within 5 minutes is a centrally located place to be able to put it. You can put them just about anywhere. It's just as long as there are no issues with ownership of land.
Council, let's do this. We kind of running out of time, so if we have any other questions, we can ask Ms. Shannon to come back.
Can you give the council your cell phone number, I have it, would you give it to them so that they can call you if they have any other
Of
questions?
course.
We have your card.
Of course.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, you have a cell phone.
Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Chairman. I'll pass it on.
I think we have someone else, Council London, do you have?
Yeah, we have
speak with-
Sergeant Meadows, got a presentation with a couple of guys that want to use our shooting range, and they called me. And I thought it would be better to come and talk to the whole council at one time.
My name is Mark Meadows, and like Councilman London said, I'm a sergeant with the Irondale Police Department. It's a long time since I've seen several of you. Ms. Pike, I think this is the first time I've met you. Good to meet you, Violet. I'm the night shift sergeant here, so
That's why we've not met.
I don't get out a whole lot during the day.
I got a bed with chickens.
But I'm also the head firearm instructor here. I'm over our firearms range. And a couple of weeks ago, I had a company approach me called Discover Your Limits. And that's David McCullough is here to speak to you tonight. He's been teaching firearm classes for, I guess, the last 4 or 5 years. But they teach, I don't know if you're familiar with a range called Brock's Gap. It's over in Hoover, the Steel City range, they call it Steel City. He's been teaching over there. And I'll try to be brief, I don't want to get into his presentation. But he approached us, they started teaching out of the Bass Pro Shop over in Leeds, and they need a place to shoot. So he approached us, I got with the chief, he got on board with it, spoke to the city attorneys, they've got all the agreements written up, all the paperwork is in line. And we talked to Councilman London, and he wanted David to come and present, his idea to you tonight, so I'll let him come up.
Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't come as prepared as she did, but I've got 4 additional for each one of the council. He told me there was 5 council members. And I've given, I can have some made, I just wanted to make, how about that? And then I'll provide, basically, first off, my background is in the Marines. In the 70s, I was in the recon, and I became a weapons and training instructor for a reactionary force. And I continued to shoot even after I got out of the Marine Corps. About 5 or 6 years ago, I got tied in with the former commander of Fort McClellan, who is a training counselor for the NRA who certifies instructors. So Dave Garrison is my cohort in crime. We go back close to 50 years, knowing each other, growing up, shooting, hunting. And so I asked him, I said, why don't we get certified with the NRA and start teaching classes? Because the public needs this. There is no place to go. So we formed a training council at Brock's Gap. We've got 120 acres at our range there. And we have matches every single weekend, usually about 28 matches. We can shoot out to 700 yards. And then we've got pistol bays and additional rifle bays. But we started a training council, and we formed a council from CIA, people that were in the CIA, all the way to police officers. And the whole purpose of the training council was to establish a group of professional individuals that could teach the public gun safety. And so we've taken the courses to become certified at the NRA. And I calculated today, between the 2 of us, each person in our group, of the 8 of us in the DYL, which is Discover Your Limits, an attorney started, has had around 18 solid days, 8 hours a day, of solid gun instruction. The first year we started, we taught nothing but women, and we paid for everything for all the women to shoot. When we teach the classes, we're not in it for profit. If you look at the pricing in the books that you've got, it covers the classes that we offer. Anything from just plain safety to refuse to be a victim, which is a non-shooting course, to personal protection outside, personal protection inside the home, which are force shooting courses. Those courses, people charge as much as $300 a person. Pistol courses, typically here in the state of Alabama, range anywhere from $95 to $200 a person. The last one we did at Bass Pro, we charged $55. That included the materials that we give each student. This is just one of the packets.